right, guys. Hey, what's up? It's the It's Your Neighbor podcast. I'm Monte Reyment. I'm here with my guy, Anthony Alvarado.
What's up, guys?
And we are on location again 2 weeks in a row, which is awesome. It's always good to get out.
It's super sweet. Look at this environment that we're in right now.
It's pretty awesome.
I feel like we're real like suave, you know what I mean? Coming in. We're sitting next to each other now. We're like real friends, you know? And this is episode 34. So we're getting really intimate in here.
That's right.
And today we actually have Corbin, and we're going to be talking about his mastery in the kitchen
as
a chef. That is becoming well known with a lot of different things that we'll get into. But before we get into that, last week we did an epic episode at
Epic. I had a fall fest, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were awesome.
I mean, to be honest with you,
Jess and Ryan are so cool.
To look at what Jessica and Ryan are doing up there and creating an entertainment spot for Northeast Wisconsin, really drawing in heavy metal, but also opening up the doors to other organizations like Take Action Realty that do Harvest Fest with the astronomers, with Kurt Gunn, with Brad Bordini, close family members, inviting the community out to the family portion during the day. I mean, we have everything packed, ready for you to go on October 19th. Harvest Fest. You can find it right through our website, and you can get tickets now for $25.
Yeah, and it's so cool. It's kind of coming clear to me about our like what we started, right? Like today's your 1 year anniversary.
Year, baby.
Anniversary work is 1 year.
This is the 1 year.
That's awesome. Working at Take Action Realty. This is his first one, and now we started the podcast not long after he started. We were both aligned with that, and it's kind of cool now. Like, you know, obviously we get to interview, you know, Chef Corbin today.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've interviewed Epic, we've interviewed the astronomers, and it's everybody that's local that's making some sort of impact. And it could be, you know, Neo was awesome, right? Yeah. Like what we're doing, we're sitting here and I can see his murals all over town, like downtown Appleton. And, you know, there's that. So it's cool. We're bringing it all together. We're telling stories and we're giving people a voice and human behind the name, which is something that's really cool. And it's outside of just selling homes, right? Like it'd be easy for me just to go sell homes, but we wanted to make a bigger impact, and we're starting to do that. And you know, Epic does the same thing with theirs, bringing that back, you know, to Epic. And last week's episode is they're bringing people together in that environment, which has been really cool.
That's right. And so with the support of Epic, and then also, of course, the bands and everybody that's coming alongside us to make the family friendly portion awesome. Also, a huge shout out to Mad City Windows. Want to go ahead and just thank them for being a sponsor for this year's event. So you'll see them in the house. And also a shout out to 95.9 KISS FM. You know, you're giving us love out there with, you know, just promoting the show. So again, tarealitygroup.com. We'll stop talking about Harvest Fest, but we are very excited about it. So go check it out. All the information.
You want to introduce our guest today?
Yeah, man. So this guest, you know, I've been following Corbin now for a little while. And, you know, every time I meet somebody that is doing something different or innovative and consistently showing up to kind of bring community together in a unique way, I think about people like you. And so Chef Corbin, you know, you've been leading the way here in Appleton. You got a couple spots.
It's very flattering. By the way.
Maybe introduce yourself and tell everybody where we're at and how to announce this correctly.
Yeah, no, you're good. My name's Corbin Emilio. I mean, the spot that we're in right now is called Ukiyo, and it's my most recent business that I opened. We opened April of last year, so almost a year and a half ago. And then I have Ambassador around the corner. Took that spot over right after COVID. I think January of 2021 was official takeover time in that. And then shortly after that, started Vegan Nightmare, which is a Southern style barbecue joint.
Just we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. With the names confusing at times.
Yeah. Is it a nightmare? It's a good one, right?
We've upset a few people, but that's okay.
There's no vegetables. No.
This is a vegan's nightmare. But yeah, shortly after I took over Ambassador, so yeah, collectively all three, and they all keep me busy, but
yes. Well, as entrepreneurs and as business owners, we know exactly what that's like to, you know, hold down a spot and, you know, start off a spot.
Right.
All the pressure that brings, you know.
Well, let's talk about starting too. We always like to get the origin story, right? You might have spilled a little bit of beans on an episode of TV I just saw yesterday, but how'd you get into cooking? Like becoming a chef? Where did that love for, you know, not only just cooking but also, you know, taking care of people? Where'd that come from?
It definitely started at a very young age. I definitely got it from my mom. You know, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I think with my mom's background, she's from South America, and I think in a lot of Hispanic culture, excuse me, a lot of Hispanic culture, family and food and just spending time with people that you love and care about is a really big part of their culture. And, growing up in that house with that culture, that was a big part of my upbringing was, we always had dinner as a family. We talked about our day. We talked about things that, were concerning or things that we really enjoyed, whatever the case may be. We always did that at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And, since we didn't really have a lot of money, we didn't really go out very often either. So most of everything we ate were, home cooked meals or, packed lunches or what have you from my mother. So food was always just a very big part of my life. And she taught me, kind of the basics. And, ever since then, I've just kind of, my own curiosities kind of carried me the rest of the way, and maybe doing things a little bit fancier than she would do. But it all stems from there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things with that too, talk about bringing people over the dinner table, something that, people, I think there's a little bit of that missing, maybe just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But I do resonate with that, going down to Texas, for example, to visit my family on my dad's side, really having that Hispanic culture and inviting us in, and just the food that we would share. They wouldn't let us stay anywhere else but their home.
Sure.
We all congregated over the dinner table and shared like all the pictures and all the stories. Ate all the best food.
Yeah.
Right. And those are some of my favorite moments. Yeah.
Even arguments sometimes,
No arguments. No difference in opinions at all.
No.
What I mean? But that's pretty cool. So where was it that first, jump into the restaurant scene? I think you said you were pretty young. When you got into it.
Yeah, I was extremely young. From the age I could legally work, 15. At the time I lived in Michigan. I grew up here in Appleton, for the most part, actually not too far from here, maybe a mile and a half. And I think, that's, I would say, where it all started. But after a while, my parents split up when I was super young. And when my mom got remarried, she was fortunate enough to find an amazing dude. I love him to death. He's my stepdad. And he got a job offer in Michigan, so we ended up transitioning there for a few years. And the very first job I got was at a British pub. It was called ARs Cafe, if anybody remembers it. If
the
anybody's
most
watching.
wonderful cuisine in the world.
Cuisine. Yeah, right. Just known for their.
I went to London. They were very. Their food culture is incredible, right? So, fish and chips, and that's it. I didn't even realize chips were for just French fries.
You don't even need to put salt on anything. But I was a dishwasher, bottom of the totem pole, and after a while, I worked there for a couple of years, and this was in Plainwell, Michigan. If anybody's watching from there, I think it's shut down.
Shout out.
Quite a while ago, but ARs Cafe. But yeah, just slowly over time, they kind of started teaching me more and more things, and it was a typical, just down to earth bunch of sweaty, hairy, angry dudes in a kitchen, swearing and just So that was my introduction to not just my introduction to restaurants, but just my introduction to having an actual job. So like I said, they just kind of started teaching me more and more things over time, and I think that added to, the knowledge that I already had and opened me up to that professional world, instead of just like doing the stuff at home. So I think since then, my curiosity has just always been growing and growing more. And I think I can only speak for myself, but I would hope that most chefs have the humility to admit that they don't know everything. And I'm one of those people. I constantly want to learn and expand my knowledge, and I'll be the first person to tell you that I don't know everything. I think I'm okay at what I do. I would say I'm good at it, but I'm not great. So, hopefully that'll keep happening over time.
Once you close curiosity off,
that's
a wrap. You're done
for
growing.
sure.
We were talking about creativity, and how you created some creativity under pressure. And that's something that we can all resonate with. Right? The pressure to go and to do something and to create something. That's what we're sitting in right now. Is the genesis of like people pouring into you. But when did you know that you had a gift for this, or a really strong passion of curiosity?
It's tough to say. I think when I was younger, it came more from a place of just personal enjoyment. I think cooking for me when I was younger was something that I did just for me and like, close friends or family. And I think, at that age, I'll obviously like my knowledge wasn't as big as it is now. So even my skills and my techniques were pretty novice, So there was a period where I struggled with knowing what I wanted to do with my life. Like I would imagine a lot of people. And so, I tried the school thing. I tried college multiple times, more times than I care to admit. And I quit them.
5.5, 6 year plan.
Closer to 10, man. I could have been a doctor.
Van Wilder over here.
Basically, they're just like trying to get me. They're kicking me out of school. They're like, "What are you still doing here?"
You still don't have an undergrad. 10 years.
For sure. But. Definitely identity crisis was a big part of my 20s for sure. And I think a large part because when I was that age, I think my mindset was that I had to do a lot of things for other people rather than for myself. I had to uphold an image that I thought would look good to my parents or my friends or, coworkers, stuff like that.
Not to cut you off.
No,
isn't that wild how when we grow up, especially, and I see this a lot with, we have a lot of younger agents in our office right now between, 20 and, 33 or something like that. And you see how like they struggle with what they were told their whole lives, what they're supposed to do. And then what they want to be. And they have, it's almost like watching caterpillars turn into butterflies. They're like
for
trying
sure.
to get out of their own skin. And they're beautiful ladies and they're just like, trying to figure out like, okay, they all say what they want to do. That they occasionally get sucked back into what they think they're supposed to do.
Hopefully. I would like to think, most people, follow their dreams. I think it's easier said than done at times, but, that's what I want for everybody. Ultimately, I think everybody should go after what they're passionate about, whatever that may be. But, I struggled with that for a long time. And like I said, I spent so much money on it's like school that I didn't want to, I didn't even end up needing, but,
what did you go to school for? I mean,
name
of
it.
the six majors that you switched to.
Whatever was in the book, man.
I was like, dude, I feel that so bad.
For sure.
They should really, in college, when you have your academic advisor, if they see you switch your major like 3 times, they should just boot you and you're an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
Get out.
Get in this entrepreneur track course.
I think I went to, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I went to 4 or 5. I can't even remember. I think I went to 5 different colleges. And I switched my major. Let's see. I went for the very first semester of college I ever took was for architecture. My dad's idea, not mine. Thought it would be a good idea. Didn't like it. Dropped out. Rather just stop going to class. Then I switched to.
If you don't like it, you're not gonna
I switched to engineering.
Step down.
Didn't like that. I think I did that for about a semester. Then I switched to computer programming. Did that for a semester. Then I switched back to engineering. And then I stopped going to school for I think like a couple of years. And then I went back for nursing. And out of all the things, nursing actually stuck the longest. I was pretty stoked about it. But I think after working, doing like clinicals and stuff like that in actual hospitals and assisted living homes, it kind of just turned me off. I was like, I don't know how these people do this every day, and just wasn't my cup of tea. So
they're amazing.
Yeah.
Anybody who can stick it out.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out all the people in healthcare. You guys are the rock stars. But yeah, it's funny because all those things that I chose to do were because of what I thought I was supposed to do. There were outside influences, which I'm not blaming them. I think they were just trying to help steer me in the right direction.
Well, you make a lot of money in this field.
Sure.
Benefits.
Yeah. And I think, this isn't anything, I'm not trying to knock on this area, but in the Midwest, I think it's pretty normal to, right out of high school, you go to college or you work, you get like a decent job and, you start a family and you do all these things in a very specific timeline. You get a house, and for some reason, those things never really appealed to me. Maybe not at that age. I think now maybe a little bit more, but I've always been a relatively like adventurous type. And like I said, my curiosity is just always, even if it's not food related, I like to learn about things. So finally, probably my late 20s, I would say, maybe even into my early 30s is when I really grasped that I needed to start doing things for me rather than other people. Unfortunately, it took a long time, better part of a decade. But
journey.
Since then, I would say over the past like 7-8 years, that's been my main focus, is just really following my dreams and the things that I want to do for myself, and also sharing it with people that I love and care about. So like I said, I hope everybody tries to do that.
With that being said, I mean, one, it's inspiring to be able to show up and do the things that you love, enjoy, and are passionate about.
Oh, yeah,
it isn't always easy, and there's hard work involved.
Of course,
if there's somebody listening, and maybe they're inspiring to be a chef,
sure,
or maybe they're inspiring to start something of their own, like you did here, in various capacities in Appleton, right? And they have that hesitation, they have that fear, they have that worry of what other people are going to think. What do you say to them?
Man, nothing comes easy. Even if it is your passion and it's something that you wake up doing and you're happy to do every day, it's still not going to be easy. You're going to have hurdles. You're going to have disappointments. You're going to have failures. It's going to beat you down at times. You're going to want to quit more times than you even want to admit. And but I think, again, the biggest thing to take from that is it's not an experience that's unique to just you. Everybody who, goes after the things that they want to go after experience this. And it's going to be hard work, but would you rather put in the hard work doing something that you love, or put in the hard work for something that you don't love? Right. And because we all have to bite the bullet at times, and I would rather do it, doing the things that I wake up passionate about. So yeah, just stay at it, keep at it.
That's for sure a sound clip. Mark that. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about that really this week. I mean, we're celebrating a year, today, being CMO of this brokerage. I've never been in real estate before, but I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I learn a ton, and I love sharing that with the world. You know what I mean? But real estate market's stuff, and sometimes I don't sleep at night.
For sure.
But at the same time, it gets me excited to go to work. Yeah, because I know we're doing something different, and that's what I think everybody's kind of searching for.
And we're doing it different. Yeah. There's not a. We're doing things differently. There's so many things that you can do in real estate that are cookie cutter. We all have the same systems and tools and all that other stuff. Sure. But once you can start storytelling and you can start, I guess in real estate, you're problem solving all the time. We talked about that today at our team meeting. Is in real estate, everything is a problem. Like, people want to sell a house. Yeah. There's a problem behind that, whether it's downsizing, whether they want to go for something bigger, whether they want to go to their dream house. Doesn't make a difference what it is. It's their perceived problem. And the same thing on the buy side. Yeah. They're buying a house because they want to buy a house. But what's the reasoning behind that? And we may call it a problem. They might not have a real legit human problem, but in their mind they have a problem. So that's I think the part that we're doing things differently is just being creative, problem solving, and doing that. And the really good agents, not just our team, but the really good agents around the country do that on a daily basis. That's their job. And then connecting. Yeah. You know, and I think that's part of any entrepreneur. Maybe the most important thing is to.
He's like, what is happening there?
We had a guy just walk.
He looked very confused.
You guys, he was like, we just had a guy walk past, like basically.
I don't know, man. We could have had the camera.
That would have been hilarious.
His jaw was around his knees.
God, that was weird. That was weird. I don't know. I didn't know I looked that good.
You got it going on. Give yourself a little credit.
One of us had.
Yeah, it's the floral. Yeah.
Hey, maybe he's like, why is that guy wearing that stupid shirt? I don't know.
Maybe he was like, why is that guy wearing that amazing shirt?
Yeah, right. So let's move on. I had to break on that one. That was wild. So let's get back to like starting the business, right?
Sure.
Like you have multiple of them now. For those out there listening, and maybe talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. You know, you go from being a chef to a business owner. Yeah, that's a big difference because now you're not just cooking food; you're doing payroll, you're marketing.
Yeah.
Hiring employees, you have all that
for
stuff.
Sure, all the fun stuff. Well, I think I think myself, along with a lot of other people, obviously, were greatly affected by COVID, and essentially, COVID was, a blessing and a curse for me, anyways. Curse in the sense that my life turned upside down in ways that I didn't want them to initially, and ways that I didn't expect, but at the end of the day, a blessing because all great things came from it. It was very eye-opening for me in terms of, what I wanted to do for my career and, essentially for the rest of my life. I think when I decided that was the opportunity to not work for anybody, hopefully ever again, and to only work for myself, I went head first, and I've never looked back. I think, like I said, it did not come easy. There were a lot of sleepless nights. I would say for the first 9 months, I woke up in the middle of the night every night, scared of failing. Because the thing when I started each one of my businesses, and by the way, that terror never goes away. It eases, but it doesn't. Yeah,
you get used to it.
But I knew that I wanted to do these things on my own, and I wanted to do them without any help. And not saying I didn't get help, but I wanted to basically attack them like full force and give it everything I got and sacrifice pretty much every aspect of my life. And I knew that it would suck. I knew that
I would. That's the battle. Going in and knowing it's going to suck.
For sure.
That's an old like Navy SEAL thing, right?
Yeah.
Like embrace the suck. I think is like
a workout.
A Marine thing. Yeah. If you know it's going to suck, it's not as sucky.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off, you know? You just got to do it. Yeah. And I think, part of what makes it a little more stressful is that not only do you know that it's going to kind of suck, but you're doing something that you know is going to kind of suck, and you don't really know if it's going to work out. So it's like, man, do I really want to torture myself not knowing that it's guaranteed? But that's part of the sacrifices. You just don't know. You just got to put in the work, and hopefully it all plays out. But sorry, that's kind of I kind of went off on a tangent there, but essentially, just post-COVID, needed to do my own thing. And Ambassador, when I took over Ambassador, I was the only employee there for about 7 or 8 months. I bartended by myself. I didn't have a bouncer. I didn't have a bar back. I didn't have a cleaning lady. I didn't have anybody doing payroll or inventory. I did have an accountant, but I still had to do all those things on my own. So I was putting in probably on average about 80 hours a week. And I would get up every day, around 8 a.m. I would run errands all day till about 2 p.m. I'd go to work at 4 p.m. and work till 1 in the morning. And I did that almost every day for like 9 months straight. And so it became exhausting, but again, it ended up paying off. And, like I said, when you go after something you're passionate about, it is going to be hard, at least in the beginning anyways. And so if you can make it through that and you can stick it out to the point where it starts to ease up a little bit and you do have a little more free time and you can start to, put some of the stress. Yeah, sure. Put some of the stress on others. Sure. I have this bad habit where I can be kind of a procrastinator at times, and I do that with vacations where I do this thing where I'm like, okay, I'm going to work super hard for like 8 or 9 months, and then I'll just be like, I'm leaving for like 4 weeks. And then everybody's like, well, how do you? I was like, oh.
So with that being said, since you are involved with Ambassador here and Nightmare, a Vegan Nightmare, taking a look at some of the things that you've been involved in, what are some of the things that you think back at, like, that was the thing that I grew from, or the cool experience that I was a part of that really has made this special, this journey? Because you talk about a lot of the hard times. Of course, we can resonate with that. We've been talking about that this week, like just building something, doing something different. The sleepless nights. This is a theme that comes up on the show from other entrepreneurs in the local community.
Yeah, I think you remember the sucky moments more,
sure,
because they suck. But I think you have to be able to stack success. 100%. You have to look back and celebrate successes as well.
Yeah. So what are some of the successes for you?
Definitely a lot of support, I would say, from the community and, lots of friends and family. I think that is kind of what makes it all worth it. And it was a little surprising because I guess when you decide to do something on your own, I guess I can only speak for myself, but a lot of times I'm my own worst critic. And the skepticism sets in pretty hard. So when I took on, all of those things, I was surprised how much support I got. Not in the sense that I thought people wouldn't be supportive. I guess more so in the sense that I didn't know if what I was going to be doing was worth the support, if that makes any sense. So when I got to see all that and experience it, it definitely made me feel more so like I had, I guess maybe like a little more purpose, and it made me feel more loved and cared about and cherished and all those things. So I think that's probably one of the biggest driving factors in me continuing what I'm doing, is knowing that people out there appreciate it and that it's not just for me, it's, it's for them too. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm hearing something completely different than what I thought you were going to say. You know what I mean? And that is really, you found yourself along the way.
Yeah,
and that's probably
for sure.
The biggest gift. And then
you can ride that way for a while.
That is,
that's momentum.
And from one business to another, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's the same. It's not like, I think once you get to a certain point, you create something. Then almost now it's my responsibility to pass that to everybody else that's within that. I serve my employees, I serve my clients, I serve our agents. Like, I'm the top dog, but if I'm not at a high level, then they're not going to fulfill their job, and they're what they want to accomplish. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned, and just having that support. And sometimes you don't know it. I think early on too, and you talked about just not knowing if it is. I think that's a male thing where inadequacy is a big deal, right? And you don't know if you're ever enough. And then you start finding yourself along the way, and you there's always going to be naysayers, but then you find those people that are your big fans, and then those are the reasons why you go to work every day. Yeah, at least for me,
for sure. Yeah.
And like you said, hopefully it's family and friends that are coming along your side, supporting you. Sometimes that looks a little different. No matter what, it's usually your family and friends that also have a lot of things to say when you start something.
Well, they know your entire history,
right?
and they know your entire history, and they maybe have not gotten rid of some of the stuff in the past. It's like when I grew up, I was a lazy kid, but now I know I was lazy because I didn't like doing the things that I was told to be doing. The same thing in college. We got combined 15 and a half years of college with 0 degrees. And
we could maybe start our own college.
So I did complete.
Yeah, I mean, we literally, and we found our passions later on and what we wanted to do. Yeah. So it's all good. We just we know better. Like you said, we spent a lot of money for sure. I just went to play sports. That was the only reason I went to college was to play sports. I didn't figure anything else out. Oh, I take it back. I did get a coaching certificate, so I do have paper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, nailed it. Have a semester,
framed it.
1 semester. I don't even know.
Hanging above his bed.
I don't even know where it is.
Big deal.
We want to let you know. No biggie. So you kind of had a big moment, I would say, in your career.
Maybe a little bit.
Was it a little big? It's a little big. All this momentum we're talking about, all that support. You want to tell everybody what show you were on? Or you're on? You're on currently.
Yeah, just aired this past Thursday. I was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to be on Hell's Kitchen season 23.
That's amazing.
We filmed it a while ago, but just aired this past Thursday, and
Connecticut.
Yeah. I was so nervous to see myself on camera.
Well,
like
see yourself, on TV. Hear your voice.
Yeah, it's like replaying one of your voicemails.
Worried that you're going to get yelled at by Chef Gordon.
Oh yeah, it's like
you kind of know,
like what we were talking about before. Like you already know that's going to happen. So
that's true. You're like, wait, I can't wait for it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna screw up on purpose to get it out of the way.
You do feel a little honored to get yelled at by Gordon Ramsay.
Well, he's the guy. Like I think he yells at people, but I have had coaches like that in the past where he yells because he knows I'm better than what it is. Yeah, he cares.
Yeah. Well, and I think
what was that like interview process like? Because I know you can't touch
very extensive.
I know you can't talk a lot about the show right now because it's airing, but like how did it go about? You get nominated and
I saw a casting call put out. So I think it was on Instagram somewhere, and it was actually sent to me by one of my friends, and she was like, "Hey, I think you should fill this out." And it was like it had only been out for a couple days, and I was a little bit skeptical because I had heard kind of horror stories about being on that show, like how hard it was, and I was like, "Man, I don't really know if I want to put myself through that." But I was also, I looked at it as a challenge, obviously. I mean, that's what the whole show is, a challenge. So I figured, why not? I filled out the application. I think they called me the next day. And from then it was, pretty extensive. It's almost like applying for a job. You got to go through a lot of different steps. And I don't know if I can get into specifics, but it was a lot. Yeah. And they want to make sure that you're not crazy for one, even though we're all a little crazy, but, hopefully that you bring something somewhat entertaining to them. So, I was pretty stoked when I got the news that they wanted me to come on. And, I think, even if, it was going to be a crazy experience, I at least wanted to do it, for myself and say that I at least tried and
you were on the blue
did all
team.
those things. Yeah, the men's team. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
had a blast.
So many other chefs.
Yeah.
The thing, like 18 plus.
Yeah. So like that was the kind of the crazy thing was, if you've ever watched the show, it's usually like a healthy mix of different people, home cooks or even just amateur chefs and head chefs, sous chef, like all these different positions. And so this season was all head chefs. So it was kind of crazy to be surrounded by one. I felt honored to like be, even considered for that.
Yeah.
And
a lot of ego.
Yeah. a lot of personalities going on there. Yeah. And so I felt very, honored to be considered for that. But two, yeah, I mean, definitely, I mean, it seemed like more of a challenge than I had anticipated. So, everybody that I met was super awesome. We pretty much talk like every day. And, yeah, the whole experience in and of itself was really, really great. And, yeah, I don't regret it at all.
With that being said, you had the premiere at Ambassador last week.
Yeah.
And how did that go? What was the response of the first episode?
Yeah, premiere went great. I set up a projector. My friend helped me out with that, and we aired it and had a bunch of people come in and just watch it with me. And I was just sitting in the corner like this, like nobody look at me. But yeah, no, again, the support was awesome, and I think that the outcome was great. Everybody seemed to have a good time, and I got a lot of really awesome compliments and made me feel pretty good. So
Chef Gordon had some great compliments for you too. So he liked what you presented.
It's all downhill from here, guys.
The first show is easy. Then after that, huh?
That's like the peak of my career. Gordon Ramsay saying he liked something I made.
that is pretty good. That is pretty good.
No, that's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
When can that be seen? What nights?
Yeah.
I mean, besides on demand,
every Thursday on Fox. Yeah. I think around here it usually airs at 7.
Sweet.
So
that's awesome. We'll have to definitely include that.
Yeah.
And you know what time it is. I'm got to get down. So this is the episode turnaround. 34. And we're going to flip it. And since we're flipping the episode, you get to be the interviewer. And you can ask us.
I didn't even know about this.
They can be anything. They can be anything.
Sweet.
To us personally.
Ooh, I like this.
As individuals. And so
you know very little about
you go.
me at this point.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. This is for, do I have to ask you guys different things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Can it be the same question? I'd like to ask you both the same question because I want to see what your answers are and if they're similar or different or how you answer them. So
see what you do.
I'm going to ask you this question because not only did I ask myself this question, but I had other people ask me this question. My birthday was a couple months ago, and I thought long and hard about this. But
are you still celebrating it?
No.
Yeah, I have my dinner here and everything. I've been still talking about it.
In what ways, or even if it's just one way, over the past year, what's something that you realized about yourself and either thought you needed to change it or maybe just appreciated that already about yourself that maybe you didn't think about before?
Oof, I am so happy I just thought about this. Literally, as coming into my 1 year here, it's kind of perfect timing for a question like this.
Sure.
So I realized, and I was reminded this on our training the other day with Amy Stockberger, that you will only receive back what you believe you are worth. And you talked about all this, about growing up and doing this and showing up for others. And while it's good intention, at the end of the day, you had to find yourself.
Yeah.
And within that, you found value and might have been through other personal experiences and other fails and other things while growing up. And for me, being 40 today and turning 40 this year, I just never thought I would make it this far, honestly, considering my lifestyle that I once lived. And to make it to 30 was a big deal. To make it to 40 was even a bigger deal. And I realized that I still struggle with this idea of like even making a good amount of money, right? And coming from a place also that all three of us resonate with, which is I didn't come from nothing, but I didn't come with a bunch.
Sure.
Growing up, we had to kind of make our way just like everybody else, especially here in the Midwest, hard workers, right? And so to learn who I am is one thing, but to learn about how much value I have, especially as what I consider myself today, which is new for me over this last year, which is a true creative. I feel like I'm answering or showing value in the places that I'm artistic and just saying, you are an artist. You are creative. You are literally going out and creating things and you're good at it. Stop there.
Yeah.
Because the rest of that bullshit you tell yourself isn't getting yourself anywhere except for the same place you've been going for your entire life.
Sure.
And that's where you stay stuck. And so when I said yes to this job, I had to believe in more. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to push myself to grow. And those sleepless nights of this first year that we've all experienced here, it made me a better leader.
Yeah.
It made me recognize how I can be better at home with my little one and my fiance. It just, when I started recognizing the value in me, I started to see the value in everything they had around me.
Nice. Fucking love that.
No.
Yeah. And I think for me, resonates a little bit about that. There's two things that really come up. Is one is resilience. We've gone through a few changes over the last year, and and I had a business partner at one point, and it got very ugly very quickly, almost overnight, and so it was hard to either fight or flight at that point. And, I figured out how resilient I am, and all startups, and this is money comes in and it goes like this.
Yeah.
And there are some days where you wake up and you're like, I can't make payroll. Sure. And then you figure it out and things happen. So that's one of them. And then I think the most important factor, and I always knew this, but it's been more resounding now, is when you align yourself with the people that are looking to be in the same environment and they can be aligned with you, things go really fast in a really, really positive way. And you can not only impact people professionally, but you can change lives on an individual basis just by having the right people with the right attitude who have the similar goals, similar drive. And it's amazing to see. And again, it's kudos, I think, to you and to Rob and to Jenna and the environment that we've created. Our culture is like nobody else's.
The vibe today was so.
Oh man, we just had so much juice today, and just
party when you want.
Yeah, and people just. I mean, who sees that at a real estate company? And it was not staged. It wasn't like I sent a message yesterday saying, "You guys need to be pumped up for tomorrow." They just showed up that way, and everybody was happy to see everybody. Yeah. We had some agents that aren't able to make our meetings on our regular Tuesdays. Sure. And they came in and it was incredible. It was just such a great thing for us today. So I think that's the biggest thing is you can't, and I say this all the time, is you can't grow an empire without people. Oh yeah. 100%. And the right people, right? Like people that are loyal, that you're serving them, but they're also at the same time serving you back. And that's what I think what we're doing, and I think it's going to be really cool. And we already have, one business branched off of ours with plans for several others, and we're going to naturally let those kind of morph into it. But that's I think the biggest thing that I learned over last year is people, and again, I knew that before, but it's just reaffirming maybe on a 10X level of what I had already known. Yeah. It was good.
Gosh, I like that. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I just blacked out.
Well, welcome back. I just watched Will Ferrell in Old School, and he did that scene. And that's where I stopped watching the movie. Is right.
He's like, "What happened?
Scene. What happened?" Yeah. He's actually, I'd like to take that one. Just like, okay.
Oh man.
Well, good. I really enjoyed this episode.
Thanks, man. Me too.
I'm super excited that you're on Hell's Kitchen. I have appreciation for food. It's something that I very much enjoy, and coming here, and doing my 40-year, celebration was big. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Still celebrating. I'm going to say it all year.
Yeah.
Keep on bringing it up. Yeah, I'm going to actually put out a post right after this about how I'm 40.
You should.
And, I just want to thank you also for providing a cool space down here in Appleton.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
Appleton's my home. I've been living here for 12 years, and this is one of the cool spots to come to.
Nice.
And I just appreciate making this community a little bit better.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Man. I think it's awesome. So, hey, guys, that's episode 34 of the Take... Hey, guys, that's episode 34 of the It's Your Neighbor podcast. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out Chef Corbin here. I almost said Coach Corbin.
Couch Corbin.
Coach Corbin. Coach Corbin. Ugh.
We got it.
We got it. Episode 34. Thank you so much.